I found out my wife was cheating when her lover's wife came to my workplace. Okay. I still don't even know how to start this without sounding like I'm describing someone else's life because this happened to me. My wife cheated on me for over a year, and I found out because the other man's wife literally walked into my workplace and told me. Yeah, that's how my Friday started. Not coffee, not emails, not good morning. A woman I had never seen before walked up to me and basically said, "Hi, your wife is sleeping with my husband." And I'm sorry, but what exactly are you supposed to say to that? Nice to meet you. Thanks for letting me know. Would you like a visitor badge? My brain just stopped. She sat down and started showing me things. Photos, messages, call logs, hotel information, dates, everything. And I mean everything. Apparently my wife and this guy had been having an affair for about 14 months. 14 months. They worked for the same multinational company and were apparently using business trips as their personal little cheating vacations. 4 trips that lasted around 5 days. 2 shorter trips. And probably more that I don't even know about. I didn't ask her to calculate it. My stomach was already doing enough gymnastics. The worst part? My wife and I had what I thought was a good marriage. We've been together since university. Married almost 15 years. 2 kids, 15 and 13. Good jobs. Nice houses. Vacations. We had sex. We talked. We laughed. We planned things together. I genuinely thought we were one of those couples who had made it through the hard part. Apparently, I was the only one who got that memo. The other wife had spent weeks investigating. She told me she'd noticed suspicious messages on her husband's phone, late at night. Messages that disappeared. No visible chat history. So she started digging. She got help from her father. They involved lawyers. They collected evidence. And eventually, they found my wife. Honestly, I have never been so grateful to a stranger while simultaneously wishing I'd never met her. She admitted she was partly telling me because she wanted revenge. Fair enough. I don't exactly blame her. She said she had wanted to tell me earlier but didn't know whether I'd believe her. So she wanted to show me everything in person. And she did. There was no room left for denial. I went home that night and looked at my wife, and she had no idea. That was the weirdest part. She was completely normal. Talking about dinner, asking about my day, just being my wife, while I was sitting there thinking, you have been sleeping with another man for over a year. I wanted to scream. I wanted to ask her immediately. Instead, I did the one thing I never thought I'd do. I said nothing, because I called a lawyer first. My lawyer basically told me, do not confront her yet, which is incredibly difficult advice when your entire nervous system is screaming, ask her right now. But I listened. I started gathering everything, financial documents, property information, investments, accounts, anything I could find. Because apparently heartbreak comes with paperwork. Nobody tells you that. Movies make divorce look like crying in the rain. Real divorce is apparently spreadsheets. Amazing. Romance is dead and Excel has inherited the earth. Then the other wife filed for divorce. That's when everything really went sideways. Her husband came home and she confronted him. He apparently tried every excuse known to mankind. He said it was only sex. He said he loved his wife. He said he got carried away. He said he would never do it again. He said he'd quit traveling. He'd stop talking to my wife. He'd do anything. Which is fascinating, because apparently I'll do anything becomes available only after you've already done the one thing you weren't supposed to do. She kicked him out. And then my wife knew. She knew he had been kicked out. She knew something had happened, and I think she realized I probably knew too. That night she confessed. She sat there crying. She told me she knew I was aware. She said she'd been living 2 different lives. One was a fantasy. The other was the life she actually loved. Me, the kids, our home, our family. She said she needed help. She said she'd do anything. Anything for another chance. I listened. I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything. I didn't call her names. Honestly, I think that surprised her. I just said, I need you to leave me alone. Then I told her to sleep in another room. That's it. Because what was I supposed to say? Thanks for the honesty. Congratulations, you finally confessed after getting caught. She kept crying. I went upstairs, and I didn't sleep. I think I slept maybe 2 hours that weekend. My brain wouldn't shut up. I kept replaying everything. Every business trip. Every time she came home late. Every time I kissed her goodbye before she left. Every time she told me she loved me. And then the messages. God. The messages were horrible. They weren't just sexual. That would have almost been easier. They were talking about our families, our children, parenting, our spouses. They were giving each other advice. My wife was apparently discussing our marriage with the man she was cheating with. That's the part that made me sick. Imagine cheating on your husband and then asking your affair partner whether your son should be doing more homework. What kind of psychological software update is that? Then I saw messages where they compared us sexually. I don't even want to repeat what they said. I can't get those words out of my head. She had this whole fantasy life where she was somebody else. And then she'd come home and be my wife, the normal wife, the mother, the person making dinner, the person asking whether I needed anything from the supermarket. I don't know how somebody does that. I genuinely don't. And yes, I know people will say, you should have noticed. I didn't. Her phone was clean, same password. She wasn't protective of it. I could pick it up whenever I wanted. There wasn't some dramatic secret second phone sitting under the mattress. She apparently used her normal number. Normal WhatsApp? Normal everything, except the conversations were hidden somehow. I still don't understand exactly how, and honestly, I don't care anymore. I spent enough time trying to solve the mystery. The mystery is solved. My wife cheated. That's the headline. Then my lawyer asked me about the kids, and this is where I completely lost my mind. She told me I should tell them. My first reaction was, absolutely not. They're children. They're already dealing with enough. Why should they know their mother cheated? But then my son asked me what was wrong. He asked why his mother was sleeping in another room. He asked why she was crying. And then he asked me if I had done something. That hit me hard. Because suddenly I realized he was building his own explanation. And maybe his explanation was that I had destroyed our family. So I changed my mind. I told them. Not every detail. Obviously not. They don't need a director's cut of their mother's affair. I told them their mother had an affair. I told them it had been going on for a long time. I told them I was talking to a lawyer and that divorce was likely. They asked questions. A lot of questions. My son was weirdly calm. He said he'd suspected something. He thought I'd done something wrong. That sentence broke me because I realized I'd been protecting my wife while my own kid was sitting there wondering whether his father had destroyed the family. My daughter reacted completely differently. She was furious. Absolutely furious. She cried. Then she started swearing. I've never heard my daughter talk like that. I almost wanted to tell her that language like that wasn't acceptable. Then I remembered the circumstances. I decided maybe this wasn't the day for a lecture on vocabulary. They wanted to know who the man was, where it happened, how long it lasted, everything. I gave them the basic truth. I didn't give them the sexual details. I'm their father. There are some things children simply do not need to know. Afterward, I left them alone with their mother. And when I came home, she was gone. She had gone to her parents. My son had apparently contacted them and told them what happened. Her parents were devastated. They asked me whether I was divorcing her. I said yes, then immediately thought, well, that probably wasn't information I needed to volunteer. But at that point, whatever. The whole family knows now. The secret is out. And honestly, I feel better. Not good. Not happy. Better. Because I don't have to pretend anymore. My children know why the house feels like a bomb went off. My wife isn't sitting there trying to convince everyone we're fine. And I don't have to smile at dinner while thinking about hotel rooms. I still love her. That's the part I hate admitting. I still love my wife. I can be furious with her. Disgusted. Heartbroken. I can want a divorce. And still love her. Apparently, the human brain is badly designed. It's like having 10 apps running and none of them are responding. The other wife and I are still talking too. People have told me that's inappropriate. Maybe. But she is literally the only person who understands this. She found out her husband cheated. I found out my wife cheated. We're both dealing with lawyers, children, homes, money, families, jobs, reputations, and the bizarre emotional whiplash of realizing the person you trusted most was capable of doing something you never imagined. She's much more focused on revenge than I am. She wants their employer to know. She wants both of them to face consequences. She says she has everything under control. Honestly, I'm not sure whether that's comforting or terrifying. Because every time she tells me she has another plan, I feel like I'm accidentally watching the beginning of a very expensive disaster. My wife keeps saying she will do anything to save our marriage. She says she'll go to therapy. She'll quit her job. She'll sign a postnuptial agreement. She'll tell her family. She'll do whatever I want. But here's the thing. She had 14 months to choose our marriage. 14 months. She made a choice. Over and over. So now that she's been caught, I'm supposed to believe the tears are the real version of her? I don't know. Maybe they are. Maybe she genuinely regrets it. Maybe she finally understands what she's done. Or maybe she's terrified of losing the life she almost threw away. And those are not the same thing. That's where I am now. I think I'm going to divorce her. I'm probably about 90% there. But the remaining 10% is complicated. Maybe it's love. Maybe it's the children. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's 15 years of memories. Maybe I'm just not ready to kill a marriage that I thought was alive until 5 days ago. I honestly don't know. And that's the part nobody prepares you for. You think the hardest part of cheating is discovering it. It's not. The hardest part is discovering it and then realizing you still love the person who did it. So yeah, that's my life now. My wife is staying with her parents. My children know. The other husband is dealing with his divorce. The company may soon be hearing about all of this. My lawyer is digging through our finances, and I'm sitting here trying to figure out whether I should destroy the life I had or try to rebuild something that may have never been what I thought it was. And now, oopsie doopsie time. Honestly, the part that keeps getting stuck in my head is the other wife. She walked into this man's workplace, dropped a nuclear bomb on his desk, handed him the receipts, and basically said, good luck. I've got my own divorce to do. And somehow she ended up being his emotional support person afterward. Like, ma'am, you two met because your spouses were cheating together. This is the strangest friendship origin story imaginable. Also, I cannot get over the fact that the wife was apparently living a completely normal family life while maintaining a secret affair for over a year. That would mess with my head so badly. I'd be sitting there 3 months later remembering some random family dinner and thinking, was she texting him under the table while I was asking her to pass the potatoes? And the kids finding out is heartbreaking. I understand why OP wanted to protect them, but I also understand why he couldn't keep lying. When they were already sensing something was wrong, the son thinking his dad had done something wrong would have absolutely destroyed me. At this point, I don't even think the divorce is the most interesting question anymore. I want to know what happens when the other wife contacts the company, because apparently we are now approaching the season finale where HR gets handed 14 months of evidence and 2 employees discover that business trip is not, in fact, a legally recognized marital hall pass, and somewhere, an innocent corporate expense. Department is about to become an unwilling participant in the world's messiest office drama. I genuinely hope the kids get therapy because they're the ones who didn't choose any of this. As for the adults, good luck. You made the mess. Now everybody gets a mop.